it's a thing that you see, which is a certain kind of black commentator crowing on Twitter or somewhere, that they are the people who black people are listening to, and that the more heterodox people, including, me by implication, are not who anybody's listening to. We're not representative. And that couldn't be more wrong, especially not today. It simply isn't true that most black people think the way what Glenn and I call the people with three names think. And those people really think that. And it's because they mostly only know each other and non-writerly black people who think like them. But that kind of person, the rhythm of their name tends to be da 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 da. All of those people think that they are speaking for Black America in general. And really, if you went down into a black crowd watching Barack Obama talk, or if you go to a black barber shop, or if you're on the subway, you find that no, that's not the case. There's a way of looking at blackness that is typical of people with PhDs and degrees in journalism who all tend to flock together. And, if you're at an event, the kinds of people who come to see you and talk to you afterwards are probably the kinds of black people who are like you. And so you get the feeling that that's all there is. It's just not true. It's not my experience in real life. It's not what I overhear. It's not what I grew up with. And it's not who I hear from. And I don't only hear from light-skinned, bow-tied, Republican voting, weird black people. No offense to people who actually fit that category, but you know what I mean. It's not the only black people who like you are kind of different. No, a lot of black people. And that's something that doesn't get out as much. And that story about the couple on the subway, I forget where I said it, but I've been noticing it's kind of getting around. And so I want to refine it a little bit. I would peg that couple as probably Dominican. They weren't black, which actually, same thing. These were people who, another thing about it is that they were not, say, 41 and giving the appearance of living in Park Slope. It wasn't that. These were people who probably hadn't gone to college, was my sense from diction and clothing and demeanor. These were probably Washington Heights Dominican people, and they had their baby. I would put them in their 20s. And so the person who said it had kind of a Rosie Perez accent. And yet that person, you would expect that Dominican person to have these, da-da-da-da-da-da views. No. And she just said, to try to imitate her without cartoonishness, I was listening to them talk about all sorts of things, and she saw these five, and she said, those are all liberal ass books. In that accent, this is a person who is by no means a PhD who grew up in some gated community. And I thought, the funny thing is that she's typical. She sees through this just like anybody else. She's not unusual. She's not some card-carrying conservative. I doubt if she was extremely churchy or something like that. She could just see the bias. It's just that you don't necessarily have a sense of it if you only follow what people say in Slate. And so, there's a distortion. And woke racism, I'm sure, is seen as something some peculiar black person thinks. But people should know that I hear from countless black people all over the country who are saying that they understand it. I'm not saying that they're calling it the Bible, but they understand it. And I think that should be known. Woke racism is not a book that was only written to uncomfortable white people looking for absolution. By no means.